I'm DigiBro, and this is the rant hole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to, and you can be one too by doing that thing that I just said. Garfield says to rant about Black Rock Shooter. Um, I don't have the most complicated thoughts on Black Rock Shooter, but I have been involved with it for a very long time. I sort of watched the inception of it, and I've seen all the, I've been participating with Black Rock Shooter along the way. So I have some intrigue in it. I was a big fan of Hatsune Miku back in 2009, around when she was first getting like global recognition, when all the Ryo songs were popular, and I was big into Nico Nico Doga and shit, and I loved the song, I loved the initial video, and I fucking adore the character design. I am a big fan of pale, skinny girls with long black hair. I like that she has like scars all over her. She seems like a badass. She seems but like an emaciated badass. It's like, I don't know. I'm attracted to sickly, falling apart, demented, psychologically damaged anime girls. So, I was all over Black Rock Shooter, and I also love the name Black Rock Shooter. Funny fact, one of my online handles for a while was Black Rock Man. Which has nothing to do with Black Rock Shooter. It was because of a song by the band Pearls and Brass called Black Rock Man. And I used it very briefly, but the people were like, you aren't black. You shouldn't call yourself Black Rock Man. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So that was before Black Rock Shooter even existed. I don't know if Black Rock as a suffix is common in any way. Those are the only two contexts I really heard it. But anyway, I loved the character design. I went all out and bought that $125 fucking figure, the first one that they made of her. And at the time, it didn't seem like it was going to be such a big phenomenon. It seemed like this character would get this statue. And, I bought it because I wanted to have the Black Rock Shooter statue. And then, of course, they made more, and I immediately regretted it because the other ones were even cooler, but they're all the same expense. And, mine's cool and all, but it's a big unwieldy pain in the ass to carry around, Still, though, her gigantic gun is pretty badass. But anyway, so while I was a fan of this thing, they then created the OVA. And I enjoyed the OVA a whole lot. I mean, at the time, Hanazawa Kana was just starting to be, everywhere. Initially, I didn't really like her that much as a voice actress, but as I kept seeing more and more of her, she became, my favorite. And this was around the time when she was first starting to be everywhere. And she was the main character, so that was part of the appeal for me. I think Kana Asumi was the other girl, the voice of Yuno from Hidamari's Sketch, if I'm not remembering wrong. So yeah, and then I think also Miyuki Sawashiro was in it, who's my other favorite voice actress. I think she was Dead Master. So yeah, I the voice actors were on point. I loved the aesthetic of the Black Rock Shooter world. The way the animation was incredible because you had those fucking Utapon fucking fight scenes and shit that looked great. All around, I was a big fan, and it's basically one part cute girls doing cute things, two girls having a friendly, pseudo-romantic, almost, drama between them, and then also these fights in the other world. Basically, that was my genre at the time. I was the moe cute girls doing cute things guy, so of course it appealed to me. But I can also say that, looking back at it now, it's not that exciting of a story. The high school life story it's very basic, it's very average, something that's been done even more in the time since then. It's really gotten played out. The otherworldly fights are still cool, but, the narrative context of them was always confusing in the movie. I won't pretend I've gone back and watched it anytime recently and, made adjustments to my impression. This is just me, having thought about it over the years, but there was also around that time they started making Figmas of a lot of the characters, and my little brother Shade, he bought most of the Figmas. So we have several DVDs of the OVA because they would package it with the Figmas and the figures and shit like that. So yeah, we were both pretty big fans of the character, and having that OVA come out was pretty gratifying as somebody who owned the statue, and it was oh yeah, they made something good out of it. Then they made the TV show, and I only made it through the first episode. I thought it looked bad. I didn't like the feel of it. The Trigger CGI fight scenes or whatever were pretty okay, but They were kind of a clusterfuck, and just overall, I was not impressed with it. And everything I heard about it was pretty negative, so I just avoided trying to watch the rest. And I don't think anything's really been done with the character since the show in like a major capacity. I could be wrong. I had never really looked into that much like Hukei's original concept for it, because it seemed like all he had posted was just like a bunch of drawings of characters, and like I guess he had like planned more of a story for it. I don't know how well the OVA or TV show actually represents what he had initially come up with for these characters before he became famous, as the designer of Black Rock Shooter and later Steins Gate. But yeah, pretty good character design. Huke is a great artist. I really appreciate his designs in general. And I would love it if something good came to Black Rock Shooter in the future. I don't necessarily think I would want like another TV show or anything like that, or even another OVA, but like maybe like a comic or something. If Huke himself wanted to expand on the universe, it'd be interesting. But I'd say it was very much a time and place thing, and that time and place is no longer now. So I'm not terribly interested in it. That's all for this rant. See you in the next one.